everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of the Knitty Heather podcast. My name is Heather, and I'm coming to you from Kent, Washington, where I live with my husband and our Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. This is my channel where I talk all about my knitting, a little bit of crochet, and everything I learn along the way. It's my place where I get to share everything I'm working on and all the different tricks and tips I pick up along the way with you all. Welcome to my very first podcast of 2021. I hope everyone's new year is off to a wonderful start. If you are a new viewer, welcome. I am so glad you found me. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. If you would like to follow me, I am at Knitty Heather on Instagram. I always love making connections with people and seeing all the lovely creations out there that you all are making. Anything I talk about in this podcast will be linked in the description box below. Today is Wednesday, January 13th, and I have a lot to share with you. It's been over a month since I podcasted last and talked all about my finished objects and whips, and I've got a lot to tell you about, so let's get started. Today I am wearing my Sebring Shawl by Lisa B. Abram. It is made out of Lorna's Laces String Quartet. It's the Blueberry Cobbler set of 5 20-gram minis. This is one of the most complicated things I have ever knit, and I loved every stitch. There's a lot of these really cool arrows that you make with these giant slip stitches, and then just some really pretty lace along the way. This was a very fun, satisfying knit, and blocking made all the difference in the world. Anytime you're making a lace shawl like this, it is the best thing you can do for it to open it up by blocking it really nicely. If you'd like some tips on blocking, I do have a scrap video called Adventures in Blocking. I knit this about 2 years ago, and I really love all the beautiful details and how these colors came together. The Sebring Shawl by Sarah B. Abram would work perfectly with any set of 5 20-gram minis. And I will say I did use up basically all 100 grams of yarn in this shawl. I barely had any leftovers of any of the colors, so it was very well planned out to use up all that yarn. Today I am also wearing my Flurries socks by Louise Welding. The yarn I used for these was Yarnbox Winterland in the colorway Fog. I knit these in 2019 on 9-inch circulars. It's a very pretty lacy design that is knit from the cuff down with an eye of partridge heel flap and gusset and a wedged toe. Now I would like to tell you about some happy mail I've received recently. First, I thought I'd show you what the Desert Vista Dye Works self-striping yarn looks like in the hank. I recently got an order from her. She has the most amazing colorways, and they're dyed to order, and she switches around the colorways she has available each month, which is really fun to kind of just see what else she comes up with and all the new things she puts out every month. And she brings colorways back from time to time too, but she's just a really exciting dyer to follow. I'll be talking a lot more about my Desert Vista Dye Works socks in a minute here, but I thought since I just got an order from her, I'd show you. This is one of my new colorways. This is Charlotte's Web, based on the artwork from the cover of the classic children's novel. There it is in the hank. And the other one I picked up is called Little Mer Zombody, with her zombie speckled stripes, and of course the colors of Ariel: red for her hair, the bluish purple for her top, and of course green for her fins. I think these are gonna end up really pretty. I can't wait to cast these on. This was Little Mer Zombody. Here they are one more time. Again, check out Desert Vista Dye Works. She is incredible. One of the best self-striping dyers out there. The other bit of happy mail I got was from Donna of Crystal Skies Hand Dyed. I've been purchasing her mini sets every month because she's got kind of a 5 20-gram mini set club every month that is inspired by a particular color. So here is December's. And it is inspired by sapphire blue, is kind of the running color through all of them. And again, this is Crystal Skies hand dyed on Etsy. She also had a set of sparkle minis that I thought might be fun as well. So here, these are, and as you can see, they are on a sparkle stellina base. Very, very pretty. I think I'm gonna have to start putting all of these into a granny stripe blanket. I have a lot of other scrappy blankets cast on right now, so I might have to wait a little bit, but I would like to do that with all these full 20 gram minis. Check out Crystal Skies hand dyed on Etsy. Now on to my finished objects. First are my December Desert Vista Dye Works socks. This was the last month from her 6th annual monthly sock club, where you knit a pair of socks out of her yarn every month. I did all 12 months and I'm so excited. I have my pair cast on for the 7th annual for 2021. I'll show you those in just a second. Here they are. These are called the Do Your Job socks by Melissa of Melia Bella. And as you can see, the texture is on one side, on one sock, and then on the other side with the other sock. So they're kind of opposite, mirroring each other. I love patterns that do that. So these started with a 3x1 rib, and then I did quite a few repeats down the leg. I continued down the foot. I did a wedge toe for these and then went back and did an afterthought heel. I really love the colorway. This was called Harbin Ice Festival. And there's kind of the two different tealy green. This was actually a mini I used that matched these two shades. There's kind of a lighter and a darker shade of teal in these stripes. And then she's kind of got her speckled zombie-ish stripes. One with more red and blues, one with more yellows and greens. This was Harbin Ice Festival by Desert Vista Dye Works in the pattern Do Your Job socks by Melissa from Melia Bella. Next up are my December socks from the Cozy Knitter. This colorway is called I Smell Snow. Really pretty purples and blues with a little gray and white. Very wintry. This is her 80/20 Bliss base, which is very cozy, very plush and plump. I started these toe up with the wedge toe, moved up the foot. I did a fish lips kiss heel, and then I did 12 rounds of a 2x2 rib for the cuff. I really like how these matched up, and I cannot wait to start wearing these. This was I Smell Snow by the Cozy Knitter. Next up are my December socks from the Yarnable box by Hypnotic Yarn. Here they are. This colorway is called Ribbon Candy. And what I did were the zigzagular socks by Susie White, who is Prairie Girl Designs. They have a nice little cabled zigzag going up one side. And then on the other sock, it goes up the opposite side for that mirrored effect again. I thought this turned out so beautifully with this yarn, this very Christmassy speckled yarn. I'll probably have to pack these away and pull them out next Christmas, but I did get a chance to wear them once. I did a fish lips kiss heel for these and then a rounded toe. You started with a 1x1 twisted rib. I think I did 15 rounds on these. Super fun, super pretty. I love this pattern. I will definitely be doing this pattern again. I think it would look really good with self-striping yarn too. I see a lot of people have done this with self-striping yarn. So I'm anxious to try that. You did need a cable needle to make these zigzags, but it wasn't very difficult. It would be a really good pattern to try cables on socks for the first time. Let me know if you know of any other patterns like this where there's pretty little detail on one side of the sock and it mirrors on the other side. I really, really like that look, and I would love to know about some more patterns that do that. These are the Zigzagular Socks by Susie White, knit up in Hypnotic Yarns Ribbon Candy from her Yarnable box. Now I would love to tell you about my Advent socks I finished in the month of December. First are my Cozy Knitter 2020 Advent socks. They have 24 stripes. I did one stripe every day, December 1st through 24th. Then I came back and I finished the cuff and the afterthought heel. She did include a contrasting cream color Minnie with this. I love how they matched up and I love the combination of colors. So beautiful. Very, very impressive. I don't know how dyers do self-striping yarn. It's just boggles my mind. But how beautiful did these turn out? I know there were so many other people who knit these and they all looked so beautiful. So again, I did these toe up with the wedge toe. I went back and did an afterthought heel. And on these I did 10 rounds of a 1x1 rib. These are the 2020 Advent socks from the Cozy Knitter. I also participated in the Advent knit along from Mustache Yarn using her Advent colorway called Hard Candy Christmas. Here it is, same idea. It's got 24 stripes. I knit these December 1st through 24th. I also did these toe up with the wedge toe. I went back and did an afterthought heel, and on these I did 15 rounds of a 2x2 rib. The contrast color I used on these was just Knit Pick Stroll Fingering in the white colorway. And I thought it really brightened these colors up very nicely. My mom saw me working on these and she's like, "Are you making those for me?" So I may have to give these to her, or I might knit her own pair. It did come with two 50-gram hanks, both perfectly matching, that each had 2 sets of the 24 stripes. That's the same with the Cozy Knitter too. Really, really nice. So you could make 2 pairs of socks, or you could do a pair of socks and gloves, probably even most of a hat if you had another color you wanted to add to it. Lots of different options with these Advent skeins. So here they are one more time. This was Hard Candy Christmas by Mustache Yarn, her 2020 Advent colorway. My last 2 finished objects are both cowls. First is my Adventuring Cowl by Amba O'Brien. This is what I made out of Knit Style Yarns 2020 Advent. Really pretty lace eyelets. You work it flat and it's on the bias, and then you seam it together with a 3-needle bind off, which is what kind of creates the slanted stripes on the diagonal, which I think looks really, really good. There's so many beautiful colors in here that I think I could wear it with anything. And I've tried it on. It's very wearable, very comfortable. So you started with a provisional cast on, and then that is what you use to seam the other end together with the 3-needle bind off. I added 1 stripe every day with her Advent calendar. I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. I highly encourage you to check out Knit Style Yarns, Sharon in New York. She is wonderful. Lots of beautiful colorways, and she's always coming up with new different things as well. I used her yarn to make the Adventuring Cowl by Amba O'Brien. My last finished object is one I have been working on all year. It's another one of my scrappy projects. This is my Year of Minnie's Cowl by Clark and Elle. She did a year-long advent where she sent out quarterly advents, each containing 13 20-gram minis for the 4 quarters. So you got to open one every single week of each quarter. And I just made a big, long, stripy tube, and I Kitchener stitched it together. I did start with a provisional cast on, so it's totally seamless. It was only my second time Kitchenering up a big tube like this. I'm used to only doing it on toes of socks, right? But it turned out really nicely. I really love the way it looks. Again, there's so many beautiful colors in here that I think I could wear it with absolutely anything. Let me see if I can show you. Here's where the winter started, and then spring kind of started right here. This, I believe, was the first, this one was the first of the summer colors. And I believe this was the first of the fall colors. So it really does kind of transition through all the seasons. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I can't wait to wear it more this winter. It's nice to have it done to be able to wear in these colder months. And if you ever get a chance to check out Clark and Elle on Etsy, she's an absolutely beautiful dyer, and I think you'll love her yarn. This was kind of my own design. If you'd like some details, please check out my Scrappy Makes Me Happy video. Kind of my own design. I just added one stripe every week in the round. When I first started it, I kind of tried to work out the math, how many rounds I needed of each stripe to make it the length I wanted, and it pretty much turned out exactly how I was hoping. So I'm very happy. I'm thinking of trying to do something like this again, but maybe with more of a fade between each color instead of just a clean stripe break. Maybe, you know, trying to go back and forth for like 4 rounds of each color to fade it. I think that might look really nice too. I have a lot left over of each color, so I think what I might try to do is make a really big habitation throw by Helen Stewart. What I would do is I would start with the winter, increase up through the spring, and then decrease starting in the summer and fall months to kind of make it even. I think that would look really cool. I think that'd be a perfect solution for my leftovers of all these minis. Again, this is what I'm calling my Year of Minis cowl by Clark and Elle. Now I would love to tell you about my works in progress. First up are my January Desert Vista Dye Work socks. Here they are. This is the colorway Zombody Loves You, EWE, gotta have the sheep reference, right? Here it is in the cake. And it's a perfect Valentine's color. I'm glad to be able to have these done before February so I can wear them for Valentine's Day. This really pretty cheesecake stitch marker is from Bluebird Miniatures on Etsy. I have these in my sock monkey bag from MLD Threads on Etsy. I'm doing these 2 at a time, toe up. I did a wedge-shaped toe, and I am just about to where I can mark for my afterthought heel. I'm in the middle of this purple zombie stripe, and then next it'll be red. And so I think once I get in the middle of the next red stripe, it'll be the perfect spot for me to mark for my afterthought heel. Then when I'm done knitting up the tubes, I will start the afterthought heel with that same red stripe in the yarn. I will find that red stripe again, and that's where I will start my afterthought heels. So I'm perfectly on track to have these done by the end of the month. This will be my first entry into the 7th annual Desert Vista Dye Works monthly sock club, which has been so much fun. Zombody Loves You by Desert Vista Dye Works. Next up are my cozy knitter socks for the month. This is the colorway Hope. I've got a Pop-Tart Progress Keeper from Sucre Miniatures. This is an 8 stripe repeat. I am on the 8th stripe. I'm on this gold color, and then I'll go back to this white. I really love how these are knitting up. She sent the contrasting dark gray mini, which actually is the first time that she has sent a mini that does not match one of the stripes in the main yarn, which is kind of cool. So it will be totally contrasting. I started with the wedge-shaped toe. I will continue working up the foot and do a fish lips kiss heel in the contrasting color, continue working up the leg, and then also do my cuff in the contrasting color. Here it is in the cake. I love this combination of colors. This is the Cozy Knitters Yarn of the Month colorway called Hope. Next are my Yarnable socks for this month by Hypnotic Yarn. Here it is. So far I'm doing these 1 at a time. So this is my first sock. I am just starting on the slip stitch heel flap. I did 20 rounds of a 2x2 rib. And I'm just going to do this plain vanilla. I really love this yarn. I'm just going to kind of let it speak for itself. I'm not quite sure where I got this Snowflake Progress Keeper. I think it came in a kit that I purchased a while ago. I'm using my Addi Turbo Sock Rockets. Here is the colorway in the cake. It is called Wintry Mix. Really pretty kind of tealy blues into a kind of cobalty royal blue, some green, and then some really fun yellow and kind of orangey gold speckles. She does an incredible job dyeing her yarn. I really love Hypnotic yarn. So I need to finish my heel flap and then do the turn, close up the gusset, and then continue down the foot, and then it'll be on to sock number 2. The pattern I'm following for just a traditional plain slip stitch heel flap and gusset vanilla sock is the Go Your Own Way socks by Stacy Winklepleck. I have it in this really pretty bag from Mrs. Brown's Bags in her signature knitwear print fabric. Love her bags. This is her kind of sock size bag with the drawstring. This is Wintry Mix by Hypnotic Yarn. My last pair of socks I have on the needles is from Mustache Yarn. This is the colorway Be Mine. This pretty progress keeper, this cute little sheep, is from Bump on a Hill on Etsy. I have it in my Mary Poppins bag from Fangirl Fibers. The contrasting color that I purchased with this was an option, and it is a 50-gram half skein called Conversation Hearts. So that is what I used for the toe. Didn't that knit up so pretty? And then these are going to be really interesting stripes. This colorway is called Be Mine, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it turns out once it's all knit up. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do an afterthought heel or a fish lips kiss heel, but I definitely will be using this contrasting color. Here's what the main color looks like in the cake. So I'm going to be getting into some pinks and purples. It's going to be very pretty. I cannot wait to see what these will turn out to look like. So I do have a little bit more to knit up in the foot. And then, yeah, I'll have to make a decision if I want to do a fish lips kiss or if I want to mark for an afterthought heel. We'll kind of see what it's looking like when I get there. This is another pair I'm doing plain vanilla, just stockinette, 2 at a time, toe up. I did a rounded toe that you find in Mina Phillip, the Knitting Expats patterns. This is another pair that I am excited to have off the needles in time for Valentine's Day. Mustache Yarn in the colorway Be Mine. Next, I have a couple shawls to tell you about. The first is called the Noah Shawl by Devin Ventry, who is Knitty McPurley, and it's another one of my Advent projects. Here is what it is looking like. It started way down here. Then it's growing and growing, lots of different textures, a little bit of lace. This part has some baubles and some striping. I am using my Advent calendar, which has 25 20-gram minis in her sparkle base from Clark and Elle. Aren't these going together so beautifully? I have one row done of my next color, and it's going to be another lacy section, I believe. I have it in this cute Clark and Elle bag that came with her Advent set. This pretty angel stitch marker is from Pitter Patter Polymer on Etsy. Here's kind of a better view of it. So there's kind of this center point, and it was working up evenly, and now it's kind of increasing on the right side and decreasing on the left side, so it's becoming a little bit asymmetrical. Super fun. I have the whole pattern printed out now, but it was part of Clark and Elle's Advent calendar, like little clues were in every few days of each different section. So that's kind of fun. So it's a little bit of a mystery knit along. Now the whole thing is out. But I think these colors are so beautiful, and there's definitely a lot of pretty colors yet to come. with this. This is the Noah Shawl by Devin Ventry, knit up in Clark & Elle's 2020 Advent Calendar. I also have my Be Simple Shawl by Carolyn Glaus Todrink. I've had this on the needles for quite a while. It's one of those really pretty, very wearable, lacy shawls. I've almost used up most of my yarn. I think I only have probably a few more pattern repeats to do. This chocolate chip cookie progress keeper is from Suker Miniatures. The yarn I am using is Arancania Huasco Sock in the colorway Toko Toucan. I purchased it at Sin City Yarn Shop when we were on vacation in Las Vegas a couple years ago, and I'm thrilled to be able to use it. It'll actually go pretty well with this blue sweater I'm wearing too. You might see this combo again in another podcast. Here is the yarn I have left. I haven't weighed it, but I will weigh it at the end of this pattern repeat. I think I only have about 30 grams left, which will only be a couple more repeats. I have it in this really cute Harry Potter yarn cozy from Amber's Yarn Shop on Etsy. The whole project is in another bag from Mrs. Brown's Bags. I've got all my Mrs. Brown's bags out now. Just kind of a different style. It's got the handles plus a drawstring. Check her out online, Mrs. Brown's Bags. Let me know if you have any other ideas for just simple, everyday, very wearable, easy to throw on shawls like this. I think this will turn out really beautifully, and it's one that you would be able to knit up in all kinds of different colorways and wear them with just about every outfit. This is the Be Simple Shawl by Carolyn Glaus Todrink. Last but not least, I have my very first sweater on my needles. I have not talked about this yet on the podcast, but I am about to finish it. This is the Learn to Knit a Sweater pattern by Stacy Perry. It's a top-down raglan with yarn overs for the increases. I finished this sleeve. I still have some ends to weave in, as you can see, but it's kind of a t-shirt length. And here I am on my last sleeve. I'm using size 7 12-inch circular needles, perfect for sleeves. I think I have exactly 9 rounds left of plain knitting and then 5 rounds of 1x1 rib, and I will be done. It's kind of big. It's going to be pretty big on me. I kind of probably overestimated the size I needed, and I'm not quite sure how accurately I took gauge, but it's definitely going to be wearable, and I think I'll just put it over like a long sleeve black shirt. The yarn I'm using is Knit Picks Comfy Sport in the colorway Marlin. I'm not sure if they still have this colorway available, but I'm sure they have something similar. This is my very first sweater. Hopefully I'll get to wear it sometime soon. This is Learn to Knit a Sweater by Stacy Perry. Well, I think that will about do it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Be sure to subscribe because I will have some giveaways coming very, very soon. Details on that to come. I really appreciate you spending some time with me and supporting my channel. Please leave a comment and let me know what you are working on right now at the beginning of 2021. I'd love to know what's on your needles. You can also message me on Instagram. I am at KnittyHeather on Instagram. Let me know if there's anything else you would like me to talk about on this podcast, or if you have any other ideas or feedback for some of my shorter scrap videos. I would love to hear any kind of feedback any of you have. Thank you so much for watching. I really, truly do appreciate it. And until next time, be well, be kind, and happy knitting. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.